Hi folks, this is Meredith from the Papery Craftery, and today is going to be the second in our series of our holiday crafts for this season. I'm going to be making some very small little ornaments today, and I know I have a number of ornaments on my channel, but these ones are going to be super small and they're going to come together super fast. The first thing we're going to do is choose our colors. I have 3 different colors here. I have a red, I have an ivory, and I have a holiday green. You can use 3 or you can use less than 3 colors. It's your choice. We're also going to need some kind of grayish silver because we're going to make a little hanger for our ornaments as well. All of these strips I'm using today are 1/8 inch wide, but you can use wider if you'd like to. I have a needle tool here, and that will come in handy for most of it. You can use a slotted tool in some places if you'd like. For glue, I just have Elmer's glue all in my needle nose container, but then I am also going to be using tacky glue. So if you did want to do the whole project in tacky glue, you could. And then it's also a good idea to have a workstation to put together your quilling. You may need to pin some pieces together here. We're going to start off with the center of our ornament. The ornament we're making kind of have like 5 stripes in them. Some of the colors repeating. This is going to be the center stripe, which is the only one that I'm going to be making in green. I am rolling this strip up from end to end. The important thing to note here is that this strip is about 24 inches long. If your strips are shorter than this, you may want to glue some together end to end to get them the length we need. It does sometimes get a little hairy to roll a super long strip up on your tools, so that's why I took it off here and just going to be manually rolling it until we get to the end. Almost there. A couple more inches. When we get to the end, we are going to let it open up a bit in our hands. We don't want to put it down and let it open up like crazy. We're just trying to get like an even open, something like that. It's about an inch across here, and that may vary on paper. Some papers unravel in slightly different ways than others, but the point is we don't want to let this go completely natural and open up all the way. And let it open up to about an inch wide and then glue down the end. And then we're going to shape it. This is our center stripe for our ornament, and we want that to be a real smushed kind of a marquee, but all the way smushed. So it almost looks like a really elongated diamond. We're going to set that aside, and then we can work on the next set of stripes. For this part, we're going to use 2 stripes that are the same color. I'm using this color red from Quilled Creations. These strips are about 18 inches long, so they're a little bit shorter. That's the key to this design, is the center is going to be made from the longest strips, and then the next section is going to be made of 2 stripes that are shorter. To save you the boredom of watching me roll up more stripes in the same way, I have one of the red already done here, and this is the second one. I rolled it in the same way that I rolled the green, all the way on my needle tool, and I'm just letting it open up manually in my hand, not super relaxed. And I'm trying to get it about the same size as the other one. So you can see me kind of comparing and trying to get them to be the same. Once they're about the same size, go ahead and add some glue. And then it's a matter of shaping these 2. So these are going to go on either side of the green. There we go. And we're making kind of a half moon shape with this. So we're going to try to line our eye of our coil up in our center, and then give it a pinch on either side, bending it over your thumb just to get a little bit of an arc there. And that is going to end up on that side. But let's do this one too. Same thing, try to line up the center before you smush it too much, and then give it a good pinch on either side and bend it over your thumbs. And that should help these 2 stripes stay about the same size. So that's what we're looking at this point. And now we can start putting those stripes on our center. So this is where the tacky glue will come in handy if mine wants to cooperate. There we go. And a little tacky glue does go a long way, and it could get a little messy on your fingers. So I would recommend having a damp paper towel or a little damp cloth next to you, that if you do get some glue on your fingers, you can go ahead and wipe it off right away so you don't transfer that glue back onto your quilling. So I line it up on one side of the green and pinch the ends. I'm not pinching it from the center, I'm just pinching the ends. And you will need to hold it for a few seconds. It's also a good idea to place it down on a hard surface to make sure that it's staying flat. This process does like to slide a little bit as it's drying, so you might end up with one of your stripes being a little higher than the other. That's why I like to, as soon as I get it lined up and starting to stay, get it down on my flat work surface, and that will help it stay level. And sometimes you need to hold it longer than others. Sometimes you need to pinch it longer than others. If you need to keep this together with pins, that is okay. That's what we have the workboard for. Don't worry about that. Just make sure you have a slick surface underneath your quilling that is going to come off with the glue, such as this parchment paper or wax paper, something like that. So now we have 3 stripes of our 5, and we're going to move on to our outer stripes, again saving the time of everyone watching me coil. But again, these are back to being 24-inch strips. These are ivory strips from Craft Harbor, and so these are 24 inches. And we're making about the same shape that we did with that red stripe. So trying to line it up in the middle and then pinching while bending it around your thumbs. And this is exactly the same as adding the red stripes on there. I told you guys this would come together super fast. These are so easy, but they're actually really cute when they're done. They look very kind of antique-y. So line that up just like we lined up the red stripe. And because these are a little bit longer, they should wrap more or less from the top to the bottom. If it doesn't reach exactly, you do not need to panic, because we're going to tackle that part at the end here. Pinch that just like we did with the red. And then you're just going to put your other stripe on the other side in the exact same way. So you end up with 5 stripes, 5 sections on your little ornament. And this is a point where we're going to cover those little gaps that may have happened at the top or bottom of your ornament. We're just going to apply a very thin, very small line of glue down one side of your outer stripe, and using another strip that's the same color as the outer stripe, we're just going to wrap this a couple of times, and that's going to hold your ornament together, and it's also going to cover up any gaps that might have happened on the top or the bottom. These kind of shapes naturally like to pull apart from each other, so you might get that little gap at the top and the bottom. But again, I don't want you to stress out over that, because that's why we're going to wrap it here, and it's going to end up so it looks like your stripes were meeting right where they needed to. So I got to the bottom, and then I went back around the other side, a little bit more glue, and I'm pinching the bottom to make sure I have a nice little peak there. And then we came back up to the top, a tiny bit more glue right at the top there, and then we're going to wipe that away. Again, that damp cloth is going to come in real handy on these. They're so small, you're going to get glue in your hands. And I'm going to wrap it again. This time I didn't put glue all the way around. You're welcome to. As long as you wrap it tight on the second turn, it doesn't really need to have another layer of glue, but if it makes you more comfortable, by all means, go ahead and do that. And again, with the pinch at the top and bottom, I think that makes it look a little bit cleaner, a little bit more finished. And then we wrapped it a third time. And once you get to the top on your third pass, you can go ahead and tear off any extra and then carefully glue down the little bit that is left. And that should be enough to give you that antique mini ornament look. And to really drive home that it is a little ornament, we're going to make a little hanger for the top. If you watched my little snowman video from last week, this is going to be a very similar process. And this is why you're going to need a needle tool. This really won't work very well with a slotted tool for this part. I have about 4 inches of this gray paper. It's sort of a speckled gray, which makes it look a little bit more like metal. I rolled it all the way to the end and then pulled on it while it's still on the tool to sort of unravel a bit. And that leaves me with a kind of curly piece with a coil still on one end. And I just like to make my ornaments that way. I've done this in the past and I think it really kind of looks like a little metal hanger that would be at the top. And I rolled it back up with my hands, leaving some negative space in the middle, and glued down the end. And if you want more info on that, you definitely should watch the mini snowman video from last week, because I do give a bit more instruction on how to make those little coils. Then it's just a matter of attaching your hanger to your ornament with whatever glue you like. Just like that. And you can definitely string these if you want to. If you want to seal them, you can definitely use like a Mod Podge or some sort of brush-on sealant. Would work fine to protect these even more. They are pretty sturdy because they're nice and solid. You can vary your colors. You can do 5 colors if you want to, kind of a rainbow effect. I have some blue and gray ones here as well, just to mix it up a little bit. And that's it. Like I said, these are really fast. They're a great addition to any type of little gift tag or card for the holidays, something like that. Don't forget to leave any questions you have in the comment section, and I will answer those as soon as I can. And you also want to look in the description box for this video for all the supplies that I use, links to those, links to my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can find some extras if you'd like to give a little bit more support. You'll also want to look for my holiday playlist where I have a lot of other videos for the holidays, and I will have a couple more coming out this year. So don't forget to like and subscribe so you can be around when those hit in the coming weeks. But in the meantime, thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.